The one thing no one tells you is running a business and managing your money is a completely different animal. Within a family business, you are actually looked upon as the cowboy that's riding, galloping into the sunset. I think it's a very big shift that happens. And a lot of principals don't really fathom that, because all of a sudden you had 50,000 employees, now you have 12. And so that was the start of evaluating how do we, in India, which is such a nascent industry for family offices, how do we sort of build this ecosystem and what's it going to take? And that's the start of what today stands as IK Connect.
Jay, fantastic to see you here in Mumbai. We've known each other since 2018. I actually looked it up. We met for the first time at the Family Office Conference in Geneva back in 2018. I've been following you. We've been connected since then. I know you have been very instrumental in forming and shaping the Indian family office ecosystem, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But before we go there, maybe tell us your story, right? How did you start your own family office and then move on from there?
Sure. Our journey started way back in 2007, right? So our family built India's largest garment export firm called Gokulas Exports. This was a firm we listed on the public market and then subsequently sold to the Blackstone private equity group. And so a firm that was running for over 50 years with about 54 factories, 50,000 employees, right? At that stage and scale, we were making garments for the world. And then, as luck would have it, in terms of timing, we were able to find the right partner for the buyout. And so for us, it's been a journey of almost 17, 18 years of managing our personal capital. Now, we learned a lot. The one thing no one tells you is running a business and managing your money is a completely different animal. Right? The instincts you need while running business are risk on, opportunistic, a little bit on the wild side. Right? You are, even within a family business, you are actually looked upon as the cowboy that's riding, galloping into the sunset, right? And that's what you are, even in the family and externally, people seek that validation. On the flip side, the minute you now have that entire set of business becomes a line item, a number in the bank, I think it's a very big shift that happens. And a lot of principals don't really fathom that, because all of a sudden you had 50,000 employees, now you have 12. But the size of your corpus is actually a number in the bank, and it sits between 5 to 7 different wealth managers. And now you're in a journey of money management, but you still don't realize that those instincts are not going to pay. The instincts of taking a bet, moving quick. Now you really actually have to slow yourself down, do analysis. It's a new trade, right? And so I think that's where we originally started, right? We started managing our own money, working with partners in the wealth field to help us in that journey, right? And now 17, 18 years in, we've learned a lot. Through that journey, you realize, I came from a background of private equity, investment banking and private equity. Investment banking in the US, private equity in India, before the liquidity event. And so for me, it was, I've always dealt with money, right? I've always managed investments. So it was easier for me from the family to take that role. But what you realize is, coming from a very high profile, highly intellectual, industry, to go into managing your own capital, you soon realize that there's a disconnect, right? Because you now work with a smaller team. You are only being sold instruments, right? Everyone who comes to meet you says, what do you want to buy?
Yeah, sell you something.
Sell you
right?
something, right?
Yes.
I said, okay, where's my intellectual capital coming from? How do I stay smart? How do I stay relevant, right? And so that was the start of evaluating how do we, in India, which is such a nascent industry for family offices, how do we sort of build this ecosystem and what's it going to take, right? And that's the start of what today stands as IK Connect, is to get single family offices in the country to come together, to connect, share and learn with each other without any commercial agenda. Nobody sells anything to the other. We're all here to learn from each other. We're all here to understand what we're investing into. Maybe in the future there's some collaboration between families, but the initial stage is simply to take a nice room, get folks in, have some good discussions across asset classes, about families, about family governance, about the future, about how do we build and grow our wealth responsibly, and sort of grow our family offices.